Hello, this is NEWSPLUS on Viewer Television. I am Franca Boniface. President Bola Tinubu has urged the royal fathers to counsel their subjects interested in elective positions in the 10th National Assembly on the need to manage their ambitions and create harmony within the Legislative House. Speaking at an interactive session with the royal fathers under the aegis of National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria at Presidential Villa, Abuja, the president declared that he is ready to work with any elected representative from the National Assembly, stressing that the Nigerian project is of paramount importance to him. President Tinubu assured traditional rulers that his administration will run an open-door policy that is ready to listen to the yearnings of Nigerians towards transforming the country's rich potential into reality. He appraised them of the decision of his government to remove fuel subsidy, improve security, create jobs, and sustain the environment, as well as the forthcoming election of principal officers of the 10th National Assembly. The Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, and the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, attended the valedictory plenary of the 9th Senate on Saturday. The duo was honored with the first two seats on the front row, often occupied by the leaders. The 9th Senate is scheduled to wind up activities on June 11, 2023, having been inaugurated on June 11, 2019. The valedictory session, which started at about 11 a.m., had most of the lawmakers present, including the Vice President and the First Lady, Kano State Governor Obasani, and the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, amongst others. The lawmakers will no longer sit for plenary sessions, but can still perform other legislative functions until Saturday, June 11. Then the federal government says the 2023 National Democracy Day will be celebrated low-key. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman Inter-Ministerial Committee for the 2023 National Democracy Day, George Akume, announced this at the World Conference Day while reeling out activities for the celebration. Akume said the celebration was to honor the heroes who championed the cause and made extraordinary sacrifice to enthrone democracy in Nigeria from 1999 to date. According to him, the struggle predates 1999. While responding to questions from newsmen, former Commissioner of Information and Strategy in Lagos State, Dele Alake, said the event was revealed to be celebrated low-key in line with the president's cost-cutting policy. The event will be broadcast live on all major stations and streamed on various social media platforms. And then the Department of State Service has confirmed that Godwin Emefiele, the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, is now in its custody for some investigative reasons. Peter Afunaya, Public Relations Officer, Department of the State Service, in a statement urged the police and public, particularly the media, to apply utmost caution in the reportage and narratives concerning this. Recall that Emefiele was suspended sequel to the ongoing investigation of his office on the planned reforms in the financial sector of the economy. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. Following Emefiele's suspension, Tinubu appointed Folashodun Adebisi as the acting CBN governor. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has said the explosion heard around the Gwagwa-Kamo Road in the nation's capital was due to the faulty tanker carrying liquefied petroleum gas. Residents of the area were earlier thrown into panic over the loud explosion, as the reason was not ascertained immediately. The FCT Public Relations Officer SP Josephine, who made the clarification in a statement, said the tanker developed a mechanical fault around Gwagwa Primary School. She said while efforts were being made to fix the fault, there was a spark which resulted in an explosion, setting the tanker ablaze. The PPRO, however, said no life was lost in the incident, stating that the situation was under control. And now the National Population Commission said the postponement of the 2023 population and housing census was for the sake of the peace and unity and not due to insufficient funds, as widely believed by critics. The commission explained that contrary to such insinuations, the MPC postponed the census exercise to save Nigeria from a national crisis. The Federal Commissioner in Anambra State, Chidi, made these disclosures during a one-day breakfast meeting with stakeholders in Akwa, the state capital. The commissioner said he saw the cloud of uncertainty that hung above the nation after the elections and were careful not to fall into some pitfalls and plunge the country into more trouble. Kaduna State Governor Senator Obasani has engaged the ambassador of Kuwait to Nigeria, Abdelaziz Abisha, in a bid to form a strong partnership with the Middle Eastern nation of investigative purposes. The partnership aimed at addressing social issues and facilitating investors' engagement with the state, thereby fostering economic growth and development as part of the effort to make Kaduna a reference point of investment in the country. This was about, according to a statement released by the governor's chief press secretary, Mohammed Shehu in Kaduna, the state capital. The engagement, the statement added, was also expected to bring about significant improvements in the lives of residents of the state by providing better access to essential services and creating more jobs opportunities. We'll be going on a short break, and when we return, News Plus continues, so stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is NEWSPLUS on Viewer Television. The Zamfara chapter of the All Progressive Congress has berated in Nigerian police force and the Department of the State Services for the alleged invasion of the Gusau and Maradon homes of the immediate past governor of the state, Bello Matawali. The condemnation is contained in a statement issued in Gusau by the State Publicity Secretary of the party, Yusuf Idris. The APC appealed to the leadership of the NPF and the DSS to caution their personnel against such misadventure and punish those who took part in the alleged invasion. Meanwhile, the Zamfara state government, in a swift reaction to the police raid, said it ordered the operatives to recover vehicles allegedly looted by the erstwhile governor. The government, in a statement issued by its spokesperson Suleiman Idris, had earlier said that the raid by the police was executed in an aftermath of a court order it obtained. Defense headquarters said the troops of Operation Forest Sanity, in conjunction with the Defense Headquarters Special Forces, have neutralized 6 terrorists and recovered arms and ammunition in Kaduna State. The Director of Defense Media Operation, Major General Musa Madami, made this known in a statement on Saturday in Abuja. The Madami said the troops had on Friday conducted covert operations to terrorist enclaves at Maidaru village in Giwa local government area and made contact with terrorists. He said the terrorists were eliminated in the firefight that ensued. According to him, 5 AK-47 rifles, 192 rounds of special ammunition, 74 rounds of special and 9 AK-47 rifle magazines were recovered. Following the Plateau State House of Assembly approval of the Governor Caleb Mutfwang's nominees of Interim Transition Committee Chairman in the 17 local government councils, Governor Mutfwang has inaugurated the Transition Committee Chairman across the 17 local government areas of Plateau State. Our correspondent Nasir Saidu was at the Old Government House Jos. He completes the story.
Following the suspension of the local government chairmen across the 17 LGS of the state, transition committee chairmen have been appointed to take over the leadership of the LGS. The swearing-in, which took place at the Old Government House Jos, was done by the Plateau State Deputy Governor, who represented the Executive Governor of Plateau State.
In order not to allow a vacuum at the third tier of government, a transition government has to be put in place, hence the need for this urgent step. Your primary responsibility is to make sure that you cooperate with the House of Assembly and ensure that all the documents needed are provided for investigation. This administration will not condone any form of indiscipline. All corrupt tendencies should be frowned at and exposed. You are expected to stabilize the local government councils and not see it as an opportunity to amass illicit wealth for yourselves.
In their various remarks, some of the appointed transition committee chairmen say they will work tirelessly to improve the standards of lives of the people.
We will abide by the rules and regulations governing the Plateau State and the local government law. Inshallah will not fail you, and we shall push this state forward.
Is to put in our best to ensure that we stabilize the system and provide the type of performance that has been lacking for quite some time. Particularly, we couldn't witness any serious development throughout the 8 years. And so we are coming in with a bomb. Even if it is just 90 days, I can assure you, the Plateau people will be proud of us.
The inauguration of these transition chairmen hopes to stabilize the local government leadership that will bring the needed change and transformation to the people across the 17 LGAs of Plateau State. Nasir Saidu, VOA TV News, Jos.
The World Bank financed agroclimatic resilience in semi-arid landscape project has expressed indirect interest in reshaping the famous Yankari Game Resort and Safari in Bauchi State in order to regain its place of pride as an international tourist attraction site. The assertion was made by the World Bank and Acrisal project team during a two-day assessment visit of the famous park, during which they listened to the presentation by the management of the park. The team stressed the need for the comprehensive documentations of the needs assessment of the entire structure in order to attract attention from potential investors and international agencies interested in ecotourism. Our correspondent Awal Hassan from Bauchi State tells us more.
The Yankari Game Reserves in Al-Aliri local government area of Bauchi State is one of the popular tourist attraction sites not only in Nigeria but in the world. However, the current state of Yankari Game Reserve, as can be seen by many and witnessed by the World Finance Agroclimatic Resilience and Semi-Arid Landscape Acrisal team during a two-day assessment visit, has become a source of concern. The team led by Dr. Joy Iganye Agene lamented the deplorable situation of the park, regretting that the present picture is completely not what the story is told about it, declaring that the park is living in its past glory.
One of my colleagues also mentioned that there's a need to have like a design, and we are happy to maybe see how we can deploy technology using AI to see what we want Yankari to look like, so you can attract funding, because the issue here is huge. And maybe even if we put the whole of Acrisal on here to really take it to how we want it to be.
National Coordinator of Acrisal, Abdulhamid Umar, however, assured that efforts will be made to make the park viable and attractive again very soon.
The Acrisal project speaks to issues concerning climate change. It talks to most of the issues listed by the GM. He told us how Wiki Spring got flooded. Landscape rehabilitation, landscape recovery, improvement is passed on the mandate, and there are classical components that this project actually entrenches and will ensure is delivered.
Bauchi State Acrisal Project Coordinator and the General Manager of Yankari stressed the need for intervention in reclaiming the deplorable condition of the game reserves in order for it to regain its lost glory.
We came to Yankari where we had some social activities and finally had stakeholder engagement, because we have some intervention, in Yankari Game Reserve.
Severe flooding, even last year, 2022, the whole of the Wiki Spring was inundated. That was one of the first natural catastrophe that we've experienced here in Yankari Game Reserve. And it needs to be addressed, because it has to take us some days. We have to close the reserve and take us some days before we clear it. It was a reverse flood.
The World Bank financed agroclimatic resilience in semi-arid landscape Acrisal had earlier donated 2 safari vehicles, which was unveiled by the Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad during the official launch of the project and stakeholders' engagement. Awal Hassan, Viewer TV News, Bauchi.
And now on the Nigerian Navy, a former chief of the naval staff, Rear Admiral Suleiman Saidu, has lauded the federal government on the strides in infrastructural development it has achieved across military formations in the country. Saidu, who was the 9th chief of the naval staff, in the course of showing his appreciation for the newly commissioned edifice of the Department of Maritime Warfare at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College Aji, further advised on the strategic areas requiring due attention as the fight against enemies of the nation intensifies on the sea.
The fault partly was ours, including me. Navy turned to put their emphasis on the Western Front. We have no problem in Nigeria with the Western flank. Our problem is in Eastern Front. More emphasis should be put to the Eastern Command rather than to the Western Command. I know the Navy started in the Lagos, but our main threat is on the eastern flank. Most of the resources are in the eastern and southern flank. And I hope somehow, somewhere, I change my start. Rome wasn't built in a day. When we start, we hope the same as this place. I'm almost about to cry with tears seeing what is happening here. I'm very pleased, absolutely pleased. Well done, you did very well.
Current Chief of the Naval Staff Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, in his remark, said the Department of Maritime Warfare remains one among several initiatives on the transformation plan for infrastructural development towards effective discharge of the Navy constitutional mandate.
To sharpen skills of officers in operational arts expected to be applied in the field. I want to therefore congratulate you students as beneficiaries of this ultra-modern edifice.
While applauding the Chief of the Naval Staff over the feat achieved, the former chief describes the current state of the Department of Maritime Warfare as a unique place for the learning, urging both junior and senior students to make good use of the facilities.
Obviously, I came here as a director here, but I've seen the changes, and I'm very happy with the changes that is happening here. And as I say to them, anybody who comes in here and didn't perform well, they should send him back to his papa's house. Because there's nothing that will stop you getting the best they have provided for you here. It's only that if you're empty on the head, then go back to your father's house.
The newly commissioned project is equipped with a 207-seater capacity auditorium, 10 syndicate rooms, 3 briefing rooms, and 1 room for operation briefing, as well as state-of-the-art training facilities. The coalition of northern groups, after taking note of the recent development in the country, especially since the announcement of the withdrawal of oil subsidy on May 29 by President Bola Tinubu in his inaugural speech, has organized a one-day town hall meeting of civil society organizations and non-government organizations, making known their stand on the subsidy removal. While applauding the federal government over the subsidy removal, the Northern Coalition Group further reprimanded the labor union, accusing them of sabotaging the quest of meaningful Nigerians for selfish interest.
Are the main reasons why we have lost faith in the ability or willingness of the organized labor to act on behalf of or speak for the interests of the Nigerian public. And unless labor amends its ways, we shall continue to distrust every of its actions and shall call the public to disrespect every of its decisions.
The People's Democratic Party and its gubernatorial candidate, Issa, had told the Gubernatorial Election Petition Tribunal that they will call on no fewer than 25 witnesses in their petition. Counsel to the petitioners, Samuel Atung, disclosed this during the proceedings of the pre-hearing phase before the court's three justices in Kaduna. During the proceedings, he averred that 23 electoral officers were part of the witnesses to be presented before the court for examination in chief, cross-examination and re-examination. The chairman
tribunal to decide. They have filed their application. We've been given 4 days to respond to it. So I don't want to comment on the merit.
Chairman of the three-man panel, Justice Victor, after extensive deliberations, allotted 7 minutes to the examination-in-chief, 12 minutes to cross-examination, while 3 minutes were allotted to re-examination, respectively. However, counsel to the first respondent, which is the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Al-Hassan Umar, second respondent, Governor Ubasani and Sanusi Musa, and that of the third respondent, APC, Mohammed Katu, were at the court, as they were all pleaded with the court for the services of an interpreter.
they have seen that the petition they filed did not contain anything to support their prayers of wanting to set aside the victory of our client. So we also ask the court now to strike out that reply. We have also informed the court that we have another application that we filed to seek the dismissal of their petition even at the preliminary stage.
Meanwhile, counsels in the matter adopted all answers documents filed, just as the court directed the PDP counsel to respond within 4 days upon services of application by the respondents. Counsels were 2 days were allotted to respond counsels to also respond. Meanwhile, the Labour Party has complained about several irregularities observed during the March 18 Guba election, thus seeking the nullification of the process. Lead counsel to the Labour Party, Barrister Abba, made the party's stand known to newsmen after the court pre-hearing session.
We are basically complaining about non-compliance with the Electoral Act. Vote by massive, anyway, they are already before the court. But these are in the petition we complained about the non-compliance with the Electoral Act, essentially. That in our petition, we have asked the court to find a hold that they invalidated the process, the entire process. We're asking for the nullification of the election on the basis of massive irregularities, non-compliance with the Electoral Act, and indeed acts of corruption in the process.
The matter has been adjourned to the 15th of May 2023 for the hearing of all applications that have been filed and those yet to be filed. You're still watching NEWSPLUS on Viewer Television. International news comes to you right after the break, so stay tuned. And now on international news, doctors treating Pope Francis say he is recovering well from surgery, but have asked him not to deliver his Saturday blessing from a hospital balcony. He underwent a 3-hour operation to repair an abdominal hernia in Rome's Gemelli Hospital on Wednesday. Briefing reporters on Saturday, surgeon Sergio Alfieri said the 86-year-old would not perform the weekly blessings to avoid strain on his abdomen. He added the Pope will stay in the hospital for all of next week. Vatican spokesperson Matteo Bruni said the Pope will instead say the traditional noon Angelus prayer from his hospital suite and urged the world's Catholics to join him. He added that the Pope has patched prosthetic inserted into his abdominal wall to help it heal, and doctors want it to settle and attach properly to avoid other operation if it breaks. Patrol boats, cycle, and officers descended by rope from a helicopter during a staged hostage crisis in the southern city of Kaohsiung as Taiwan's armed forces held drills on Saturday. The island hosts frequent military drills in the face of increasing military and political pressures from China, including near-daily Chinese warplane incursions into its air defense zone. Beijing claims self-ruled democratic Taiwan as its territory and has vowed to retake it one day by force if necessary. At Kaohsiung Port, the Coast Guard, military police, and airborne service simulated a hostage situation accompanied by action movie, music, and an ongoing narration of the attack. Smaller patrol boats surrounded the ship while a helicopter hovered overhead. And that's all on NEWSPLUS. Many thanks for watching. I am Franco Boniface. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.